Alright, so I got a bunch of projects going on right now. I just bought this thing today. It doesn't want to start. The guy did spark plugs and wires, and I made sure it's getting fuel and it's getting spark, and it seems to have compression, but it's not wanting to start. So I'm not sure if I have all the spark plug wires in tune to where they're supposed to go, so I'll deal with that later. I'm just kind of tired of dealing with it. The other project I have is I'm going to start cleaning this thing out. I shut the door earlier, now the door won't open. So I got to figure out how to open the door on that side. But this side's open at least. So this thing's been sitting for a long time. As you can see, there's rat droppings everywhere. But this truck runs. Got it to run, but the air system, it's not getting air to the brakes. So, and then I pulled on a line yesterday and broke that. So I'm just going to clean all this stuff up. I bought a new hydraulic line, so I got to put that on to lift the cab up, which is sitting right here because the old one broke. And then I've got this thing going on. I've got new fuel lines being made for it since the old ones were just leaking everywhere, and they were steel braided, and they were kind of a pain in the butt to get off. And then I've got this, doing an EGR cooler and an oil cooler on it. So taking my time at getting to this because it's not a priority, and it's also a pain in the butt because there's not very much room on it. But that is the problem right there, EGR cooler. So projects kind of everywhere. That's another project. I just redid the bellows for this. This is going to go on it. This is going to be a replacement for what's on it, because the one that's on it, it's so eroded and corroded that I couldn't get some of the bolts off, and this thing's super just rusted, and I could get one bolt there, but I couldn't get the top one. So I'm gonna pull this out, swap it with the other one. This boat's running. I just got the exhaust all set up and on there, so this thing's pretty much good to go. Oh, what else is going on? I just got this big old stump out of my yard. This tree had died, and the city, the SMUD had them cut it down, so they only cut it to like right there, so I cut the rest off. But this thing's huge. This took a little while to get out. It's a monster. But now the yard's looking a little better. I got the fences back up, but I'm gonna replace this fence. I started it, I replaced all that, but I still need to do all this. So that's eventually what I'm gonna be doing. But it was over there. I filled it in and smoothed it all out. All right, so I don't really know anything about air brake systems on these trucks, or any air brakes, but so my problem is I hooked the air up to the air tank on this side, right here, but there is a one-way valve right there. So when I air this tank up, it does not shoot air into this tank. The air pump pumps into that thing, and then it comes into this tank, and then this line up here, this line, goes down. But what I didn't realize is there's a, I don't know how, but wherever this truck was, they damaged it right here. So this line has air coming through it, and this line goes up and into that other tank. That line comes up and into this tank, and then this is the line that I broke, which goes up that way somewhere into the cab, which controls that valve. So once I replace that air line and the other one, which is, I think it's this one right here, it goes down and it's like an 8-foot hose. Once I replace those two lines, it'll have air brakes again. So now I've learned a little bit. All right, when I bought this water truck here, the guy told me that he was lifting it, and I think he was lifting it with a tractor, and something broke, and it started going all sideways on him, and that's what it's doing to me. See how it's over like 6 inches here, and over there it's going in. So you put a bar to this hydraulic system. I put a new line on it, and it goes to that ram, and it lifts it up. Well, something over there's broken, so I got the excavator with the chain hooked to it, lifting it so I can get underneath here and replace that line that I broke, which goes right up around there and into that little mess right there. So I've got the pin in here, so hopefully it don't fall and crush me, but something's broken up here. I don't know what, but something's not straight. Can't tell what, but something's broke up there. So I'm just gonna fix what I gotta fix and then get out of here. All right, got the lines off. That's the one I need for the tank, which goes to the top of the tank over here, and it wraps around through the frame and it goes up and into here. So got that one off. There's no way I was gonna get that off without lifting the cab that high. And I've got a support bar here, which was in the cab. And then when I do this again, I'll just hook the chain up with the excavator again to hopefully not get crushed. So hopefully I'll get those lines this week. The motor here is locked up. The 2 cylinders in the center, I put a bunch of PB blaster in them, but the exhaust, there's no flapper on it. So the water went right in down, and it went right into the exhaust and right into the motor. So that sucks. That's a 4-cylinder. Could probably find a diesel motor to bolt up to all that, but I'm gonna try to unfreeze that motor. I might have to pull the head off of it, but get that done and then make that motor run too. So this thing starts right up when it's got good batteries. That thing I'm gonna have to work at.